So my family's in North Carolina. They've been there for over 20 years, so that's where I go home to. And I've never had any kind of issue in North Carolina. I love the people, I love the land, I love the state. And then all of a sudden, a law passed that said that I'm supposed to use a men's restroom. Now, of course, I wasn't about to do that, and no one takes a second look at me in the bathroom, but just knowing everywhere I went that I was somehow breaking the law because people were so scared of someone like me being in the restroom with other women has an effect on you. It has a psychological toll. I was being told everywhere I went that I was something abject. I was monstrous. I was something that needed to be legislated out of existence. And you carry that with you, and it's really hard. There's been a sea change in Hollywood since I first began talking about these issues in a really loud and public kind of way. Of course, the conversations that we're having now have been happening for over 40 years, but with the advent of social media and the kind of rise to celebrity of a couple of trans people, the conversation became a lot more heated and a lot more engaged with the wider public, which it wasn't before. I think it's fair to say that I've achieved success in Hollywood in that I'm making a full-time living as an actor and as a writer. And that's a dream that I had as a child and never really thought would come possible. That's the nature of a dream. And it is surreal that I get to do that. But it adds to the surreal quality that a trans person being successful in Hollywood was not something that any of us ever considered possible just a few years ago. There was absolutely no place for us. We couldn't even get in the door. The argument that provokes my ire the strongest is people who keep responding to any kind of critique about casting cis people as trans part with, it's called acting. Every one of them says this with this kind of glee, like, we had never thought of that. Like, oh, us as professional actors never realized that actors act. And they always think it's like this winning card that they've played. Of course it's acting. And of course, in an ideal world, I would like anyone to be able to play any kind of part. All I've been saying is two things. One is that there are dangerous consequences when you cast cis men as trans women, and trans people have been systemically excluded from the industry, and that the only way we're going to get a foothold in and eventually be the kinds of stars that can bank a film is if we get an opportunity right at the ground level. In 5 years, I'd really like for this conversation to seem quaint or even absurd, that this was ever an issue at all. That's what I really look forward to. I look forward to seeing a whole crop of trans actors who come up through high school theater and college theater and conservatories and don't remember a time when they didn't have a viable career route. I look forward to a time when I see trans people accepting awards at the Emmys and Oscars for acting, writing, directing, costume, makeup, editing, sound, the whole gamut. For myself, I'm ambitious AF and have a lot of projects in the work. I want to be a showrunner and I want to be a feature writer, and I want to spend the rest of my life telling stories that center people who are normally relegated to the margins. We have a lot to bring, and I'm excited for us to start bringing it.